What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new on this channel, we explore tips, strategies, and experiences that I have had that will help you start and build up your Amazon FBA wholesale business. In this video, we are going to be covering a sequence type video to my last video. So if you guys haven't seen that video on how to source profitable wholesale brands and suppliers, I take you guys through a really comprehensive tutorial on how I find profitable brands and companies to reach out to in order to close more wholesale accounts with. So I'm going to leave a link for that video I'm going to link it right above. So check that video out if you guys have not seen it. In this video, guys, we are going to cover how I analyze products prior to making buying decisions, but more specifically, how I determine if the buy box is rotating on certain product listings. So I'm going to bring it right over to Amazon.com right now, and we're going to pick up right where we left off on the list that we had from our last video. So again, check that video out if you haven't seen it. That will provide a little bit more background for you guys prior to going into this video. This video is a little bit more in detail on how we are going to analyze specific product listings and the competition that is on those product listings. So I'm just going to pull up our first ASIN here that we had from the previous video. And what we can see is we can see that there are 13 sellers on the product listing. And for those of you who do not know, the buy box is what's called the buy it now button. And so this seller would be in the buy box. So what we see here on the right-hand side is that this particular product ships from Amazon. So that means Amazon fulfills the product and they ship the item to the customer. And it is sold by Deals on Call. So this seller in particular is the seller of the product, but Amazon fulfills that product. So this is a third-party seller, like myself, like you, and we utilize Amazon as a fulfillment channel so that we can scale and leverage our business because Amazon's logistics channel is so strong, and that's how we are able to, ship to the customer at a very fast rate. Whereas if we were to ship directly to customers ourselves, we would be utilizing the merchant fulfilled program. So I do both FBA and FBM, fulfillment by Amazon and fulfillment by merchant. Predominantly, I utilize FBA. About 90 to 95% of my inventory is fulfilled by Amazon. So it's it's the name of the game, guys, is fulfillment by Amazon. That's how we scale and grow a business. So when you are in what's called the buy box, that means you are going to get the sale on Amazon. So this seller is in the buy box, meaning that if I click buy it now, and I'm not going to do it because I'm not logged into my Amazon account, but if I have a Prime account and I click buy it now, I'm only one more click away from buying the product. So I click buy it now, and then Amazon will come up with like a pop-up where it will have your credit card information and your shipping information. And then all you have to do is click it once and confirm it, and boom, the item gets sent to you in 2 days. Amazon's shipping time to customer is a little backed up right now, so we might not see it in 2 days. Like here, this item arrives Thursday, November 19th. So that's, today is the 10th. So obviously Amazon is backed up on this particular item, but the point is that the seller that is in the buy box, so the seller that is right here, is the one that gets the sale. But that's not the only seller we have. We also have 13 other offers, and we're going to explore this a little bit more. So I'm just going to drag my picture over to the left-hand side. So we see the seller in the buy box, and then as we scroll down, We have other competitive prime offers priced at $14. So those are competitive offers that are buy box eligible because they are prime sellers. They have a competitive price. So those are the main factors that are going to give you the buy box, right? Prime offer, competitive price. So um, we're also seeing that some sellers might be more likely to get the buy box if they have more stock in the Amazon warehouse. This depends. We don't necessarily know what Amazon's algorithm does, and Amazon has never released this information on the specific criteria that they utilize for putting sellers in the buy box. So we don't know exactly what it is, but we can only predict, and we have a general idea that the lowest price and the competitive prime offer gets the buy box. And ideally, you want to have more stock in Amazon. Now, I'm going to follow all of that up by saying and acknowledging the major buy box issue that has been going on since I have seen right around June and July for some sellers. I experienced it in July, leading into August. It got a little bit better, and then it got worse for me in September. So, this is the fact that the buy box is not rotating normally like it used to. So, before making a buying decision, it was very easy for us to predict because we could say, all right, if there's 5 competitive offers on the product listing, and 100 sales a month, we can divide 100 by 5 competitive offers and get our share of monthly sales. However, what we've seen now is that one seller is predominantly controlling the buy box for you know, on certain product listings. So it's difficult for us to make investment decisions like that, and that is what this video is all about. Is I'm going to help you guys make take precautionary measures so that you can make these investment decisions confidently and know that the buy box is rotating. Beyond to a certain extent. We can never know exactly what's going to happen, but we can utilize these steps in order to make better predictions on if the buy box is rotating equally amongst all of the sellers. I've mentioned this in other videos, but this is going to be a much more comprehensive video on exactly how I determine if the buy box is rotating before making investment decisions. So make sure you guys, pay attention if you are interested in learning how the buy box rotates. So again, we're seeing some competitive offers because they're prime and they are tied with the lowest price. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is a little bit higher than $14. I would still consider it competitive because it's not too high and it is prime. So 7, 8, I could consider this as well because the price is a little bit higher, but it's not too much higher. 9, so 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So these price ranges are pretty high. Above 19, I'd probably rule those out. But anything below 19, I would say that that seller, it's possible that they might drop it right to 14 at any given point because they are a prime seller. We don't know how much money they're getting the product for, meaning we don't know what their buy cost is. Maybe these sellers are getting it at a cheaper price because they're buying higher volume from the company, whereas these sellers might only be buying a couple. Um, Although it's showing that they keep a extension is showing that they have stock on them. So we don't know the full picture. So that's what we have to be careful of. So I would say for this listing, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I would say there are 11 competitive offers on this product listing. Um, and let's see how much the offers fluctuate on the Keepa graph. So they generally stay about the same here. Everybody ran out of stock. Must have been an issue with supply chain there. and they kind of fluctuate, but more recently they have increased. Something to keep in mind there. So let's get into how we're going to estimate if the buy box rotates. So my first screening criteria for determining if the buy box is rotating is I'm going to go to this little data tab here on Keepa. And if you guys don't have Keepa, make sure you do get the paid version of Keepa. I have never made an investment decision without strongly analyzing the Keepa chart because it is so important for making buying decisions. Only about $17 or $18 a month, so it's a very cheap software, and it's a very useful software. So we have data. We're going to click on data here. And once it loads in, let's go to buy box statistics. And from here, we can see the percentage buy box won of each seller. Now, keep in mind, Keepa is a software estimate, so it's not going to be completely accurate, right? So, you know, if this 38% could possibly be 60%, you know, we don't know exactly what the percentage is. Keepa only gives us an idea of what each seller is getting, but generally speaking, it will be proportional to the percentages that they have. So we can see that this is a product listing that I'm seeing that the buy box does rotate and distribute a decent amount to each seller, right? If I was seeing something like 100% of the time for this seller and there was no other sellers here, that would be quite concerning to me because it's showing that the buy box is not rotating at all. If it was saying, you know, 60% and above, I would be still kind of in the concerned zone because it's showing that one seller is controlling most of the buy box percentage. We can toggle between 90 and 180 days. And again, we'll see as we go for a longer calendar distance, the buy box actually distributes more evenly because the buy box used to rotate evenly. So that's the thing here, guys. You'll see that when you look at the 30-day view, because of this issue that's been going on with a lot of product listings, not all, but there are quite a few out there that are experiencing this. We'll see that the buy box is not rotating as much as it has been in the past. But still, on this listing, I would say that this is not a extreme concern of a non-rotational buy box. So something to keep in mind. That's step one. That is my first criteria. So I'm just going to jot this down. So let's just do this. Bring this over here. We'll call this buy box rotation analysis. So step one is go to Keepa and then check out the data tab and go to buy box statistics and then analyze the buy box percentage distribution. So that's key as a screener. The next step is we are going to manually track each seller's sales over time. And I'm going to put a note here because after we do this, we are going to look at MAP pricing versus non-MAP pricing. And I will get into that a little bit later. We're not going to make this video too long, but I do want you guys to get a good idea of how we estimate this. So we're going to jump over to step two, and we are going to manually track each seller's stock to an extent. And I say to an extent because I utilize a quick and easy software to tell me how much stock each seller has on average. So It's never going to be 100% accurate, but we can get a great idea of how many sales each seller is getting by tracking their stock through this software over time. And the software that I use to do this is Count Stock. There are a few other softwares out there. If you are interested in this software, just type in Count Stock, Amazon, Chrome extension. I'm going to drag my picture down here, and it's this link right here. So it's the online seller add-on, OS add-on. So if you guys are interested, you can just add that onto your Chrome extension and determine it from there. So we're jumping over to this sheet, and what we're going to do is I'm going to pull up my Chrome extension here, and if you have it plugged in, you'll just get this option where you can click this. So what we can see is each seller, and we can see the quantity that they have and the price that they are priced at. So essentially what I'll do is I will just copy and paste this whole thing, and I will put it just right in here. So I'll copy and paste that and put it right in here. And we will get an idea of how much stock each seller has. So I'm going to title this spreadsheet with that ASIN so I know. And I'm going to insert a row above, and I'm going to put today's date, which is 11/10. And now I know how many units each seller has today. So what I'll do is I'll go back here. Tomorrow's a little bit soon, so I might go back instead of tomorrow, maybe I'll go the next day. So I'll do like every other day. So I would then put something below here, and I do 11/12/2020. And I would do the same thing. I would pull up my count stock and copy and paste their stock in here, and I would note the discrepancy of quantity from each day. So one thing to keep in mind when you guys are doing this is sometimes sellers might have more stock than they did the previous day or the previous 2 days that you looked at it. So what that means is they might have restocked, or they have units in transfer. So sellers might have cleared out, this seller might have went from 105 to 15. So that would be a huge amount, and we probably are going to predict that they didn't sell that much in one day. Maybe they did, depending on how much, how the velocity is, but it probably means that the seller is fluctuating stock from one fulfillment center to another, and it does vary how much stock is being shown to the viewer, because that is all dependent on Amazon and how they transfer inventory from one fulfillment center to another and display only certain units available. So that's one thing to keep in mind. But if you do this over a period of 1 to 2 weeks, and you do it about every other day, you will get an idea of who is selling the inventory and who is not. And that has been a lifesaver for me prior to making investment decisions. Guys, I cannot tell you enough. I've been looking at products that have a non-rotational buy box. Literally, there is one seller that is getting all of these sales on certain products. And this method has enabled me to stay away from those products. And I want to jump over to this non-map versus map pricing. So real quick, I'm going to make another video about this in the future, but I want to touch on this for a moment because it is very tied in with this whole buy box rotational issue. If you have a lot of products with MAP pricing, you have to be careful, because MAP pricing is a mandated minimum advertised price by the company that you buy from. meaning that you cannot sell their products below a certain price on Amazon. So let's say, for instance, hypothetically, the MAP price mandated by the company is $14 on this product. So no seller can go below $14, or the brand will either cut you off from distribution. I've seen brands issue complaints into Amazon. That's a route that you really don't want to go. They might, issue you a couple warnings the first few times, but they will cut you off depending on how serious they take their pricing policy. So that is something that we have to abide by if we want to stay as a seller. The issue with MAP pricing right now is that because the buy box does not rotate equally on a lot of product listings, with MAP pricing, we are not able to undercut competitors by 50 cents or $1 or $2 in order to regain control over the buy box. So if you have one seller that is stuck in the buy box on a MAP priced product, you might be sitting on inventory for quite some time because you are not able to drop your price below MAP, because it will forfeit your relationship with the company. Guys, I'm experiencing this on several ASINs right now. It is a bind. It is an issue because it's causing me to have money tied up right now that I could be investing in new products. So I am refocusing and looking at non-MAP priced products even more than I am with MAP products. And for the products that do have MAP, I am being very, very diligent in looking at how the buy box rotates utilizing these two methods. Utilizing these two methods here. So that's key. That is how I analyze if the buy box rotates or not. You can do this for any ASIN, and you can utilize your count stock monitor to do so. So that's pretty much it for this video, guys. I don't want to make it too long, but I hope this helped you understand on how I use the tools that we have available in order to determine if the buy box is rotating during the current time. Again, times are constantly changing on Amazon, so we always have to be adapting to this change and adjusting our ways in what we buy, how we buy it, how we make investment decisions. So it's an ever-changing landscape on Amazon, and there is still a ton of opportunity. We just have to do our due diligence prior to investing in certain products. So that's it for this video, guys. I hope that helped. If you guys do enjoy these videos, smash that like button and hit that subscribe button and notification bell to stay up to date on all of the wholesale content that I will be putting out. As a reminder, guys, we have, let me get rid of this here. Okay, sorry about that. As a reminder, guys, we have just launched the Amazon FBA Wholesale Start Build Scale Facebook group, so make sure you guys check that group out. If you have not done so already, I'll leave a link for that group in the description. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we will see you next time.